Hello everyone, how are you? Dear students, we have already started with our chapter of microorganisms, and earlier we have studied about how the microorganisms can be our friends, that is how they are useful to us, and also we have studied about how the microorganisms are our foe or the enemy, that is how they are causing various types of diseases and harm to us. Today we are going to study a new topic that is about food preservation. Food preservation. As you know that if we keep a piece of bread or chapati or any food item outside, then after some time it starts giving a bad smell or a bad odor. So this shows that the food is getting spoiled after a few days. It gets attacked by the bacteria and fungi and it becomes unsuitable for our consumption. So that means our food gets spoiled after a few days if we do not preserve it. So, what are the methods of food preservation that we are going to study today? So, the first method, there are 6 different methods which we are going to study. The first method is the chemical method. Chemical method. So here we are going to see how the food is preserved with the help of certain chemicals. Certain chemicals like sodium benzoate and sodium metabisulfite or salt. These are nothing but chemicals which when they are added to our food can preserve them for a long time. For example, certain pickles or the syrups or the squashes, they are preserved for a long time with the help of certain chemicals. So this is the first method of preservation, that is the chemical method. Now we go to the second method. Second method is preservation by salt. Now many of you have seen your mother preparing the pickles which can last for a long time. So you know that the pickles contain a very large quantity of salt. Also you have tasted the papad, and because that is also having a large quantity of salt. So that salt, it prevents the attack of microorganisms on the pickle and therefore we can use it for a long time. So this method is called as salting. Even the fish can be preserved with the help of salting. Then the next method is preservation by sugar. You know that we can preserve certain jams, jellies, murabba, etc. with the help of large quantity of sugar. So the sugar, it also inhibits the growth of microbes. Microorganisms do not attack such materials like jams because of the presence of sugar in it. So the preservation method is the preservation by adding sugar. Jam, jellies and squash. These are the example of certain food materials which we can preserve with the help of adding large quantity of sugar. Then the next is preservation by oil and vinegar. Now you must be wondering that the pickles which we are using for the whole year, it has a large quantity of oil in it. You must have seen that there is a lot of oil. So that oil also protects the food from damage. The microorganisms do not attack the pickles because of the presence of oil. Also, one more thing is vinegar. Vinegar is also used for preservation of pickles. So the fourth method was preservation by oil and vinegar. By this method, the pickles, fish, etc. are preserved for a long time. Then the next is heat and cold treatment. The fifth method is heat and cold treatment. Now you must be knowing that whenever we bring milk in our homes, first thing your mother does is to boil the milk. So when we boil the milk, this large, very high temperature, it kills the microorganisms. So the food, the milk, it can be preserved for a long time if you if you boil it. So preservation method includes boiling as well as cooling. Very cold temperatures also. You must be knowing that we use our refrigerator or fridge. We keep our things, the fruits, the vegetables in the fridge for storing it or keeping it fresh for a longer time. So heat as well as very cold treatments are used for the food preservation. Now because of the very high temperature, the microorganisms growth is stopped or it is inhibited. The growth is reduced in very high temperature as well as very cold temperature. The temperature of the fridge is say 4 degrees Celsius. In that case, the growth of the microorganisms in our food material does not take so fast. That is why for 1 or 2 days you can keep your food very fresh inside the refrigerator. Next one is storage and packing. One more thing in this heat and cold treatment is pasteurization. You must be knowing that milk is pasteurized. This was discovered by Louis Pasteur. The process is called as pasteurization. In this process, the milk is heated to a high temperature of 70 degrees Celsius and then suddenly it is cooled to just a very chilled temperature below say 0 degree. So in this case, the sudden decrease in temperature, this also kills the microorganisms present in the milk, and the pasteurized milk can be used for a very long period. Because of this process, the milk is preserved for a long time. The last one is storage and packing. Storage and packing. Whenever you bring any food materials like dry fruits, you must have seen the packing. The packing is with plastic bags and there is no air in it. It is very tightly packed. So when you remove the air, it becomes airtight. So that means no air is allowed to enter into it, and that is why the microorganisms cannot attack the food materials. So when we make our packing airtight, in airtight containers or airtight bags, we can store food for a very long time. So this is the method for preservation. Let us see once again all the methods. The chemical method, preservation by salt, then preservation by sugar, preservation by oil and vinegar, heat and cold treatment, storage and packing. So you must have understood these methods. Since they are very useful for us, try to remember each of this method and their examples. Thank you.